RPN is not responsible for the views, actions, opinions, or statements of its guests or advertisers. The information on this program is not to be construed as medical or legal advice. An appearance on this show is not to be considered an endorsement, and as always, we encourage you to do your own research. Enjoy the show. Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Friday Night Livestream. I hope everyone's having a lovely day and a wonderful evening as well. Thank you to everyone who's been here hanging out. Thank you to the mods for keeping the chat comfy. Thank you to White Hat for doing the pre-show. Tonight, my guest is Dr. Sam Osmanagich. He is the discoverer of the Bosnian Pyramids. Fascinating subject. You might not even know that there are pyramids in Bosnia. Well, shouldn't be surprised, there's pyramids all over the world. Only question is, who built them? All right, gang. Please do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Watch the news and you'll know that nothing is normal right now. Things are getting worse, and we probably won't be returning to our old lives very soon, if ever again, with the way they're going. Now, what does this mean to you today, right now? What does that mean for the future? Well, it's very possible we could be looking at food shortages, and the question is, are you going to be prepared? Or will you get trampled in the panic that ensues when everyone realizes the local grocery stores are out of food? Don't let the coming nightmare turn you into a statistic. Make tomorrow's survival your top priority today by building an emergency food supply right now. I personally use and trust my Patriot Supply, and you should too. They are the go-to experts in emergency preparedness, and right now you can save $100 on a full 4-week food supply of their delicious and nutritious food that lasts up to 25 years. But you might need it as soon as next month if things continue on the track they're on. Don't let yourself get caught unprepared, not when you can get a 4-week supply of emergency food shipped right to your doorstep today. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. That's preparewithredpill78.com. Act now while supplies last. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. Good evening, everyone. Ooh, I went to the wrong thing. I need to go to the camera. There we are. All right, I love what Mr. Vax2 said. I'm going to take an honest look tonight. Wiki says it's fake. That means check it out. Wiki is absolutely fake. Wikipedia is a completely controlled opposition. I wouldn't trust a single thing that's on there. I used to work for somebody who had a falsified entry about them on Wikipedia. Tried to correct it as a service to them, and the editors at Wikipedia would not let it change. They would only allow for the information that they thought was, go ahead to put in there. So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Please do me a favor. Don't forget to like and share this broadcast. Help us get it out past the algorithms. Quite frankly, stream was taken down in the middle of the show tonight. I'm a little worried because after speaking with Frank and learning about what he was talking about, it doesn't sound like it was anything that was deserving of being removed from the platform. It's getting harder and harder to talk about anything here. It's getting kind of scary. I really am going to just make a plea to everyone, if you have not yet, subscribe to my backup channels. I may have to start posting there. I may have to start streaming there. I'd like to be able to start streaming there, but I want to make sure that I know you guys are actually going to be there. If only a couple of you are subscribed, then that means the notification's not going to go out to very many people. Well, tonight, you guys, Dr. Sam Osmanagich is my guest. Unfortunately, because he lives in Eastern Europe, we had to do the interview yesterday. So he and I recorded it. The internet in Bosnia is not as good as the internet in the United States. There's a couple of spots where it broke up. I had to edit that out. The sound quality in certain places has a bit of a crackle to it. I did my best to try and, flatten even all of that stuff out. But I just ask you to bear with me. The interview itself is very important. There is definitely a movement among mainstream archaeology and history to, shape the conversation, shape the narrative, if you will, much in the same way there is in politics and everything else. So if they control history, they control us, because we don't know the full truth about humanity. Now, the Bosnian Pyramid Complex is an ancient pyramid complex which is in the exact same configuration as the pyramid complex in Giza, except that it is much, much older. So I want you to listen to this with an open mind, because I know there are certain people who are just going to say from the outset that it's fake, that it's not real, it's not a pyramid complex. Well, Dr. Osmanagich is an expert in pyramids, and you're going to hear about that. Also, they've done a lot of scientific, data gathering with the time that they've had there. This is the most actively excavated archaeological site on the face of the earth. Plus, if the mainstream is telling you that this isn't real, obviously there must be something there. So just once again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Also, I have signed up on Parler. If you guys haven't followed me on Parler yet, go ahead and follow me there. There are other links below in the description telling you where you can go. Also consider supporting my sponsor, because those sponsors are the reason that I'm able to continue now that I've been fully demonetized. And yes, I have taken my oath. If you want to see my oath, you can check it out on Twitter. Maybe I'll play it for you after the video. And I actually took it the other day when our favorite Anon first posted it on the board. But I took it again today in a special video so that I could put it out, because everybody was putting it out at 5:17 their time. So we'll go ahead and check that out afterwards. I have a bit of a migraine, and I'm kind of trying to work through it, so I don't know how long we're going to go for after the interview. But the interview itself is about an hour and 20 minutes long. Once again, Dr. Sam Osmanagich. There is links below this video in the description if you guys want to get some more information about him. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Thanks for being here, guys, and I'll be in the chat with you. All right, good evening, everyone. You're listening to another edition of Red Pill News. I am Zach, the Corruption Detector, and joining me tonight is a very special guest, Dr. Sam Osmanagich, the discoverer of the Bosnian Pyramids. Dr. Sam, thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm happy to be with you, Zach. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm so excited to have you here. I've been following your work since about 2012. I don't know that my entire audience knows about the discovery of the Bosnian Pyramids, but first I'd like to get a little background on you. I mean, what was your educational background? How did you get into this work?
I got my Ph.D. in Mayan Pyramids. And for the last 35 years, I have been researching the ancient history and pyramids in particular. Probably there is no living soul on this planet at this moment who's been researching and visiting more pyramids than myself on all 6 continents. I got 18 books written on the subject, ancient civilizations and the pyramids, and the last 15 years I've discovered and I've been principal investigator of the Bosnian Pyramids, the first pyramids in Europe the biggest and the oldest on the planet, and they have the most extensive underground tunnel network on the planet as well. It has become the most exciting archaeological project because they've been changing the history books totally. They've been telling us that history started 7,000 years back with Sumerians, then 5,000 years back with Babylon, Akkad, Assyria, Hittite, ancient Egypt, ancient India, ancient China, and it is not correct. This is just the last cycle of humanity. Before this one, we had at least 5 more in the last 100,000 years, and you won't find those things in non-scientific sites like Wikipedia, Encyclopedia Britannica, National Geographic, Smithsonian, and the others, because elites who control those sites in order to keep us in line. The less we know, better for them. They manipulate with us much easier. So our work is groundbreaking, and despite all these sites, and of course efforts from cultural establishment from Little Bosnia, the European Archaeological Association, leading professors, archaeologists, Egyptologists, who labeled us, who tried to stop us, boycott us, despite everything, this is still the most active archaeological site in the world, and I've been running it. I've been surrounded with a lot of wonderful young people, and those young at their hearts. So this is what I do. This is the most beautiful job in the world. And besides running this project in heart of Bosnia, I've been traveling around the world, researching megalithic and pyramid sites, concluding we are not the first or the most advanced civilization on this planet.
So how old approximately is the pyramid complex there in Bosnia?
What we have in Bosnia is a complex of at least 5 pyramids, which I named the Bosnian Pyramids of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Temple of Mother Earth, and Pyramid of Love. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, when you remove 3 to 4 feet layers of soil, and the whole pyramid or pyramid complex is covered by soil and vegetation. Not like in Egypt. Egypt is in desert, no rain, no greenery. However, the pyramids in China, 250 of them, or the Mayan Pyramids in Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Belize, and there are 100,000 of them. And in Bosnia, of course, we are all in the same climate belt, a lot of rain and greenery, so they've been covered by soil and vegetation. In our case, we remove the soil 3 to 4 feet below, we start finding rectangular and square concrete blocks, artificial concrete. They come in several layers, several rows. Between those rows, we've been discovering fossilized leaves. Leaves, it's organic material. You can date it 1,200 years, plus minus 400 years. So we go back for 30,000 years. And this is what really shocked archaeological community, making them very nervous that they've been attacking us.
Considering the similarities and things that line up amongst these various pyramid complexes throughout the world, and the fact that this exists at the Bosnian Pyramid Complex, why is it so difficult for conventional, historians and archaeologists to believe that the Bosnian Pyramid Complex actually is a man-made complex?
So far, there were no pyramids in Europe. That's one thing. There's the privilege of Central America, Northern Africa, or Asia. Now we have them in Europe. The biggest thing is the size and the age. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, 6 million tons of blocks. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, 20 million tons of artificial concrete of the best quality. Who? Why? How? So that's the thing. Now, when it comes to the age, it's a big shock if you've been telling the audience, the public, the world for 200 years, that everything started 7,000 years back, and now we need to go back for tens of thousands of years. It changes everything. And then people will realize that what they've been considering anomalies like Göbekli Tepe, megalithic sites, a huge site in Turkey, is more than 12,000 years old. But the Machu Picchu in eastern Peru is the first structures more than 50,000 years old. The Yonaguni monument on the bottom of Pacific floor near Japanese shore, more than 12,000 years. So now we see that there were very advanced civilizations in the distant past. And you know how we've been programmed to think about the pyramids, Egypt, pharaohs, tombs. Well, we need to forget that, because that is not correct. The pyramids, the oldest, are the most superior, the biggest, and the material is the best, meaning there is no evolution, but the knowledge has been brought to us. Everything that came after are inferior structures. And the major question is why they were built, those pyramids all around the planet. So far, archaeologists, Egyptologists, geologists, historians, they jealously guarded those structures, but they are not scientists. The real scientists are people with the instruments, physicists, electrical engineers, sound engineers, telecommunication engineers. And we have had teams and teams from Serbia, Croatia, Germany, Finland, Italy. And they have confirmed that on the very top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, there was an energy beam, which is electrical in nature, 28 kilohertz frequency, 13 feet in diameter. It's focused, it's continuous, because we've been measuring it during the summer and fall and winter and spring. Mother Nature does not make hills with four sides, triangular faces, perfect orientation to the cardinal points, cover it with artificial concrete blocks, like in Bosnia, and plus we have this energy beam. You have to have not only an artificial structure, but the energy machine. So the new definition of the pyramids, they are not tombs for pharaohs or kings for one dead body, but they were built as very complex energy machines. The first potential use of pyramids is that they are communication devices. How do we know that? This particular frequency of 28 kilohertz is exactly the same frequency used by great scientist, the physicist Nikola Tesla, who was born, by the way, less than 200 miles from Bosnian Pyramids. In his lab in Colorado Springs, and especially in the Wardenclyffe Tower in the state of New York, 120 years ago, he was doing experiments, sending energy beams between Wardenclyffe Tower and our planet and other planets. And he wrote in his diary, I found a way to send almost unlimited quantities of energy, thousands of horsepower, between two planets, regardless of their distance. And the frequency he was using, 28 kilohertz, exactly the same we found on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. It seems this is the best frequency to transport energy and information in the universe. And interesting thing is that frequency and the way how this energy moves, and it goes from 12 feet up to 70 feet, back to 12, 70, 12, these are so-called scalar waves or torsion fields, and they move quicker than the speed of light, meaning they are ideal media to move the information in the universe. And that's the reason why I'm saying the first potential purpose of pyramid energy is to be the communication device. The second one, under the Bosnian pyramids, we have cleared several miles of prehistorical tunnels. And we have noticed, deeper we go, we breathe better and better. And this is not logical, but nothing in Bosnia is. You see, when you go to the coal mining, you go to the mines, deeper you go, lack of oxygen. Here it's opposite. People who have respiratory problems, asthma, infections, and so on, they go inside, they start breathing so well. They go outside, they don't need inhalators, air pumps no more. People come with the high sugar in the blood. They get back, 4 or 5 points, it's reduced, coming back to normal level. People come with high blood pressure. After they are back, it's a normal level. People come with the pain. Pains are gone. People come with the very serious diseases, and we can see excellent health improvement. What does that mean? It seems that the pyramid energy affects our state of health. How? Everything we do, we use scientific methods. And we realize that there are about 10 factors affecting our health while in pyramid tunnels. Number 1, absence of bad, harmful cosmic radiations. You and I, we live on the surface of the planet, but we are exposed to cosmic radiations, some of them being harmful. Our body cells fight those enemies. 120 feet below the ground, in the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, no harmful cosmic radiations. No natural radioactivity coming from underground, because we measure it on a daily basis using Geiger counters. Number 3, there is no Wi-Fi signal. Number 4, there is no cell phone signal. But on the other hand, we have some measurable pyramid energies. The best frequency of electromagnetic field, the best frequency of the ultrasound, 28 kilohertz, the best extremely low frequency, ELF, of 7.83 hertz. In science, it is called the Schumann Resonance. This is the original resonance of our planet. And it has been like that until 1990. After that, so much of our bad technologies, TVs, laptops, computers, cell phones, electrical grid, American Project HARP, this bad EM, it has to go somewhere. It is going to the ionosphere around our planet, putting a pressure on our mother planet, and it starts resonating higher, 8 hertz, 10 hertz, 12 hertz, 15 hertz. We don't live in our natural energy field no more. We feel that as the stress. You go to the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, 7.83. You go back to the balance. And maybe the most important element, the high concentration of negative ions. The medical science knows that negative ions, they connect with the dust in the air, they go down to the floor. They connect with the pollen, they clear the atmosphere. They raise the level of oxygen in our body so we can do more stuff, we are more energized. And most importantly, they kill viruses, bacteria, fungi. Nowadays, with this pandemic around us of coronavirus, now everybody's talking about the viruses, and guess what? Negative ions kill them. How? You got that virus, the core, and you got proteins. Negative and positive ions are coming to those proteins. They suck the hydrogen. Without the hydrogen, protein dies, and virus is dead, coming down on the floor. In your office, my home, 20 to 50 negative ions per cubic centimeter. We go outside to downtowns, 150. By the rivers, 500. On the mountains, in the pine tree forest, 1,000. It's 6-7 times higher than in the cities, and we feel better. But in the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, between 20,000 and 60,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter. This is the science. So, in our tunnels, no place for viruses. Even if you cough, they kill viruses instantly. There are several scientific studies confirming that in the UK and the US. We don't need to mention them. So we know that all these factors allow us that the moment we get inside the tunnels, without the bad radiations, without high Wi-Fi, without cell phone and so on, without that and only with the good energies, our body cells don't have enemies. For the first time in our life, they can start doing their job. What is their job? To fix the problems in our body. Somebody has high blood pressure, somebody sugar, somebody pain, somebody tumor, somebody cancer, somebody has mental problems, somebody has problem in one of our 7 energy fields, starting from Auric Field. It doesn't matter. The regeneration process starts. So our conclusion, the second purpose of pyramid energy is to protect what is the most precious to us, and that is our health. Number 3, in the tunnels, we are finding a lot of water in some of those, canals and little lakes. We have analyzed this water. First, conventional analysis, physical, chemical, microbiological, no viruses, no bacteria, pH excellent. pH from 0 to 14, 7 is neutral, but our blood is not 7. Our blood is 7.45. Water in the tunnels, 7.45. But then we've done more sophisticated analysis. Among other things, we sent samples to late Dr. Masaru Emoto 6 years back. And, he had become very popular since 1999. He was freezing different samples of water from, let's say, contaminated lakes or rivers, city water, the water you were singing to the water, or you were, playing Beethoven music. And once he froze those samples, he could see that the structure is different. The contaminated water, low level of energy, no structure at all. And water with Beethoven or Mozart music, beautiful hexagonal structure. And the same thing with the Bosnian Pyramid water, hexagonal with the crystal-like structure. It is energetically alive. It vibrates high. It's a happy water. And the most important liquid in our life is the water. So the third potential purpose of pyramid energy is to improve the molecular structure of the water. Number 4, food. We are what we eat. Well, we did experiment with the seeds of beans. We took 3 different samples, 3 bags. We put 1 bag in the Bosnian Pyramid tunnel, 1 on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, and 1 was the control group. It was in our home. After 15 days of incubation period, we were checking the germinization process. And from the control group, about 60% of the seeds, they started growing. 60%. And we know that from the real life. If you buy the seeds of anything, plants or, fruits or vegetables, you plant it, not every seed will start growing, right? It was 60%. Well, the seeds from the tunnels and from the pyramid, 100%. So it affects the DNA. That's number 4. Number 5, we have this bioenergy field called the Auric Field. Our good friend from Russia, his name is Professor Konstantin Korotko from University of St. Petersburg. He invented a machine to actually measure human auric field through the electromagnetism. So in the last 4 years, we have scanned about 3,700 people before entering the pyramid tunnels and after coming back. Living in this stressful environment, majority of the people had their auric field and their chakras small, damaged, not in balance. After being in tunnels just for 1 hour, we could see huge improvement. 90% of people had this improved. 3,700 people, this is significant scientific sample of people. The next one, immunity, goes up. So we can go on and on. So our conclusion is that the pyramids were built as a huge, complex machines, affecting literally anything and everything, improving the molecular structure, and most probably the major feature was to have communication between two different cosmic bodies. But then it raises next question. If our planet is point A, where is the point B? Probably our planet was not the point A. Our planet was maybe point C, D, F, or whatever. Point A was somewhere else. So it tells us that in a distant past, somebody was using local materials, making excellent quality concrete, making shapes of pyramids, putting them in certain ratio. For example, the pyramids of the Sun, Moon, and Dragon in Bosnia, they form perfect equilateral triangle. They knew that these are elements of sacred geometry. Sacred geometry amplifies the energy. They are so smart to locate those pyramids above energy potent places. Below the Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, we have iron plates. Iron generates an electromagnetic field. What the pyramid does, it amplifies existing electromagnetism. How do we know that? Because we have measured it. We measure the strength of electromagnetism at the base and at the top. At the top, 50 times stronger. It's an amplifier. And then below the pyramids, about 70 feet below, we have underground water flow. Water moves, releases negative ions. The pyramid amplifies the concentration of negative ions. How do we know that? Because we've been measuring it on a daily basis. And then 170 feet, another water flow. Between two water flow, we have charge, electricity. Therefore, we have this electrical beam. And then during our excavation process, as I said, this is the most active archaeological sites. In the last 15 years, more than 450,000 working hours. So during our excavation process, we are discovering quartz crystal on the surface of the pyramid and inside the tunnels. Quartz crystal has ability to transform the energy. So for example, when you have electromagnetic field hitting the quartz crystal through the piezoelectrical effect, electromagnetism goes to ultrasound. How do we know that? Because we have measured 28 kilohertz frequency ultrasound. So now we can see how genius those builders were. They were using our existing natural sources, shapes, geometry, elements of sacred geometry, and they were getting the machines that should last forever, serving the community on this planet and above.
I have so many questions. This is so fascinating to me. Obviously, you've got reams and mountains of data that you've been able to collect over the years since you guys have been excavating there. What do these same naysayers say when presented with that data, which you can clearly show measurable improvement in so many different areas and, you know, everything there? What did they say to that?
You go to those sites who's been skeptical. They use information from 2006. They're saying it's impossible. Bosnia did not have pharaohs. This guy is pseudo-scientist. They label you. In the meantime, in the last 15 years, we have had 5 international scientific conferences on Bosnian pyramids with 110 scientists from different fields. We have confirmed artificial concrete from 5 different countries and 7 different institutes. Politecnico di Torino in Italy, Geopolymer Institute in France, institutes in Czech Republic, Slovakia, in Bosnia. They all said it was artificial concrete. Some of them call them geopolymer concrete, some of them synthetic concrete. And we have millions of tons of this concrete. The ancients were smart. They were using what they had. When they were building those tunnels, they were removing conglomerate. Deeper conglomerate is pebbles, rocks, and sand. They were removing that. They used that to make concrete. They were adding water. And unlike us, we use cement, as a binding material, they used melted clay. Much better fit and much better binder. So now we know it's artificial. You know, when you see on topographic map, hill with four sides, triangular faces, corners, and when you measure the orientation of the sides, and you find out that it's a perfect north-south, east-west orientation, three hills, and you measure from top of the sun to the top of the moon, it's about 2,180 meters, 1.3 miles. From the moon to Dragon, 2,180. From Dragon back to the sun, 2,180. Mother Nature does not make hills with four sides, perfect equilateral triangle, especially when you find underground tunnel. So now we have perfect equilateral triangle. And below the biggest pyramid complex, we have huge underground tunnel network. The first level is a labyrinth. So far we have cleared more than 2 miles of existing underground tunnels. Now we can see the presence of 2 civilizations. The first one who built this network of tunnels, passageways, intersections, chambers, underground lakes more than 30,000 years back, based on our radiocarbon dating, and second one who came almost 5,000 years ago, or exactly 4,610 years back, who closed all these tunnels. They filled them up with the filler material. They built hundreds of dry walls. So what we do today, thousands of years after, we remove some of those dry walls. We remove the filler material manually. So what we do is just wheelbarrow. And then we keep clearing our way towards the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. When our friends, geophysicists from Russia, were in Bosnia, Professor Kavrashkin, Professor Tsiplakov, they were standing on the top of the pyramid using geoelectrical equipment. Geoelectrical equipment was shooting the rays under the ground, and based on different speed of those rays, we know what type of the material we have. If it is solid material, if it is air or water or metal or stone, clays, and so on. They discovered that 280 meters, 900 feet below the top of the pyramid, there was a network of tunnels. Now, we discovered the entrance, which is 1.3 miles away from the pyramid. So far, we have cleared about 2,000 yards. So we are getting closer and closer. Eventually, we're going to connect to those tunnels. This is our goal. But it takes time because all the tunnels are filled with the material. So now we can see that the construction complex is there. And again, naysayers are saying that we are digging tunnels today in modern times. When people come there, when they see miles and miles of those tunnels, obviously it is impossible that one day, we dig, next day we fill them up, next day again we dig. It's obviously impossible. Mm-hmm. So the problem is, this is the discovery which is not under the control of the elites. Why is that important? One would say, well, this is a huge discovery, everybody should be talking about it, everybody should be happy. It's not like that. The major discoveries are controlled by elite. All major discoveries in archaeology. Why is that important? Those who control history control the present. And here we have one non-profit, non-government foundation that I established 15 years ago. And nobody can tell us what to do or what to say publicly. We've known about many cases and people from universities when they discovered, for example, that Mayas are not 3,000 but 8,000 years old, they were fired, they would lose their jobs because it was against, established information. So, unfortunately, the politics is everywhere, including the world of history.
What is the response from the Bosnian government? Do they support your efforts there?
Now, we have established non-profit foundation for the archaeological and scientific research. Without the organization, we could not dig. In order to dig, you need to get permission from the Ministry of Culture. And we've been getting it year after year. We review every year, so we need to submit the report and so on. So obviously the ministries in the regional government, they've been supportive because they see that we use scientific methodology, that we have experts, geologists, engineers. My Ph.D. is in anthropology and I'm the pyramid researcher. So they've been supportive. However, the cultural establishment of Bosnia in general is not. When I started with this project back in 2006, even before I started digging, even though I had the permission, they wrote petitions, 23 of them, the leading Bosnian archaeologists, geologists, historians, museum curators, asking the government to stop digging before we even started digging. And then we started digging, we started discovering those concrete blocks and the tunnels, obvious proofs. The Bosnian Prime Minister came to the site, he said, wow, this is man-made concrete. Wow, look at how many tourists. Dr. Osmanagich, keep digging and don't worry about the jealous scientists in Bosnia. Well, those jealous guys, for decades, they have their stories about humanity, how we evolved from the monkeys and how human history is 5,000-6,000 years old, how 100,000 slaves built Egyptian pyramids, and other nonsense. And now we are coming with fresh ideas, with the proofs, with the scientific arguments, with the tourism, with a lot of interest in the media. They didn't like that because their PhDs not good anymore. Professorships also, the way they've been teaching their students, not good. If the students from the faculty in Sarajevo, the university, would come to town of Visoko, where the pyramids are, they could not pass the exams. I mean, you would not believe how much pressure was here in the local cultural establishment. Now, when they saw that we keep moving, now they complain to European Archaeological Association, and they've been writing against us. They signed another petition. None of those people who signed petitions from France, Germany, UK, Poland, later on from US, visited the pyramids. They thought once we see their big names and titles and positions, we're going to get scared and we're going to run away. Has not happened. We've been here because we know that we have science on our side, the noble goals in front of us, and we've been fulfilling our dreams.
Have you or anyone on your team attempted to replicate the phenomena that you see there at the pyramids? Like, it sounds like you have some idea as to what the mechanism of these energy fields are and how they're created. Is it possible to replicate that outside of the pyramid itself?
Yes. You see, we were always wondering about the negative ions. So what we did last year, we purchased a lot of property near the tunnels, and from swampy area, we transformed it into the beautiful park. And in this park, last year we built a pyramid using some of the same elements. For example, it is four-sided pyramid, square base, triangles, and then perfect orientation, east, west, north, south. Why is that important? We know that, for example, Egyptian pyramids, Great Pyramid of Egypt, has a perfect orientation. The error from perfect north, 0 degrees and 3 minutes. The second one, Kefren, 0 degrees, 3 minutes. The third one, Miserinos, 0 degrees, 18 minutes. Bosnian, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and 12 seconds, the most precise. Why is that important? Egyptologists do not know. Archaeologists, historians, independent or they don't know. Why? Because they don't have an engineering mind. If they did, they would know that everything is energy. Our planet is a huge energy ball. And you have energy ball, you have movement, the energy flow. Two strongest energy flows, north-south, east-west. You built a pyramid, four-sided, you perfectly oriented, it initiates the movement of the energy inside the pyramid, beneficial energy. Anyway, go back to our pyramid. So, perfect four-sided pyramid, perfect orientation. What we did, during the construction, in the foundation and in the pyramid walls, we installed 250 kilos, 550 pounds of quartz crystal from the tunnels. And then we applied the formula 369. Nikola Tesla was saying it's a cosmic, formula. All the living beings are made, thanks to this formula. So we have 4 triangles. We have 6 inside the pyramid. We have support wall, which is 6 meters by 6 by 6 by 6, about 20 feet. And then the outside walls are 9 by 9 by 9 by 9 meters, or, it's about 35 feet. So 369. When we built the pyramid, we were measuring the negative ions outside the pyramid, about 1,000, which was very good quantity, and it is understandable. It is park, a lot of trees, and so on. We entered the pyramid, 12,000 negative ions, 12 times better than in the pine tree forest. What does that mean? We have had obviously some elements. We had elements of geometry, quartz crystal, and stuff like that. But we have not had all the elements, because the pyramids, they have underground tunnels. They have probably between 3 and 7 levels of underground tunnels with the energy movement. They have this water. They have circuit geometry. So more elements you have, the pyramid becomes stronger and stronger and more beneficial to us.
Now, with regard to the tunnels, what is the difference in the makeup of the composition of that fill with respect to the tunnel itself, the wall all around it?
Actually, it's almost the same material. Okay. Because the tunnels, they've been built in the material called a river conglomerate. What is river conglomerate? When you have a huge floods, water brings everything, whatever is in front of her, the pebbles and the rocks and sand and the wood and bones and animals, whatever. Water recedes. What remain are the heavy stuff, stones and rocks and sand. And now, in the case of Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, we have about 140 feet of this, rocks and sand for tens of thousands of years. Due to the pressure of this material, the layers on the bottom, they became very compact. Well, the builders they drilled through this compact material, building those tunnels, removing pebbles, rocks, and sand, and they used them to make the concrete and cover the pyramid. So this is the link between the tunnels and the pyramid concrete blocks. However, 25,000 years later, another civilization, or maybe even the same, came, and for some reason, they fill up all the tunnels with similar material, a river conglomerate, but the major difference is this sand from the conglomerate is non-compact.
Okay.
So, conglomerate is very compact, it's very hard, some places hard as a rock, and this is loose material. You remove it, you can remove it with your hand. And this very hard conglomerate, you cannot. So this is the major difference. But almost the same composition is giving us a lot of trouble. The reason why, when we try to use georadar equipment above the ground, if we had those cavities, if we had, empty tunnels, it would be easy for us to locate. But once they are filled all the way to the top, it's basically the same type of the material, so we cannot tell the difference, and we cannot determine from above the ground where those tunnels go. So we have to go rather slowly, manually, removing the stuff, and then we cannot open all the tunnels. It's a huge labyrinth, because we don't have really enough money or funds or energy or people, and there is no need to clear all of them. In general, we move towards the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun.
Now, do you believe that inside the pyramid that the complex, the tunnel system would continue upwards, or is it just on the base level?
Yes. As a matter of fact, we've done some geophysical scanning, and it tells us that inside the pyramid, at different depths, we have network of passageways, and they go like a spiral towards the top. And it would make a lot of sense. You have tunnels below, you have this spiral there, and then we know that the pyramid has the power. It pulls whatever is below. It can be water, it can be energy. How do we know that? Near Chicago, there is a pyramid called Golden Pyramid. 1979, the wealthy businessman, the construction business, he started building a replica of the Great Pyramid of Egypt, just 9 times smaller. As he was finishing the pyramid, and he was building it on a clay. Clay is a waterproof. As he was finishing, he could see that the water was coming on the surface. Once he placed all the walls and the roof, he got an artificial lake on the surface. Why? Because the pyramid pulls all this water from underneath. And the same thing goes with the energy. The pyramid pulls all this electromagnetism, electricity, negative ions, whatever is below, through those cavities, through those tunnels, and then it goes to the very top.
Have you come across any artifacts or anything that could identify who and what the civilization was that built this or lived there over the past tens of thousands of years?
Yes. We have discovered artifacts, different cultural layers. For example, so far we have discovered 6 entrances to the tunnels. And all of them are basically closed and they are filled. But in some cases, like last year, we were working on the tunnels which we named the Ravne 3. And one section of about 200 feet was open for thousands of years. So we are finding ceramics which belong to the late medieval times, early medieval times, Byzantine times, it's about 1500 years back, ancient Roman times, 2000 years, and Neolithic times, about 5,000 years. So for those who claim that I'm building them today, how come I could plant artifacts of so many different periods? So obviously some sections were used, they were used over the time. But I would say that we have not found any sophisticated artifacts belonging to the original builders. How is that possible? It's possible because I don't think that anybody actually lived there tens of thousands of years back. Let's make a parallel to our nuclear power plant. You build a nuclear power plant using certain location near the water, away from the civilization. You use, all the bulldozers, equipment, the instruments, tools, and so on. But once you're done, you remove all your instruments, your tools, your equipment. It's gone. You won't be able to find, bulldozers or forklifts or cranes near the ancient sites. They are not there because everything they used, it's gone. It was dismantled after they finished the job. The same thing here. They finished the job, they removed all the equipment and tools, and that's the reason why we cannot find anything. But what we can find are the constructions above the ground, below the ground, and we can measure energy phenomena. The ancients were very smart, and it has always been about the energy. But the way they had the concept of energy was so much more advanced than ours. Look what we have today. In my home in Europe, in Bosnia, I have 220 volts, you have 110 volts. If there is a loose wire, you touch it, it kills us. Look at the frequency and voltage that we are inventing. The phones in Bosnia are still 3G, going to 4G. In the US is 3G, 4G, and 5G. South Korea, 4G, 5G. Australia, 3, 4, 5. Most of Europe, 4G. These are the frequency in gigahertz. You put it here, it starts burning your brain cells. Everything we do, we work against ourselves. Thermal power plants, coal, dirty industry, oil and gas, limited resources, nuclear power plants. Go from, Chernobyl to Fukushima. Look how much damage we've been doing to our planet. Everything we do concerning the energy is so wrong, and it is so expensive, allowing 10,000 people to rule over 8 billion people because they possess more than 90% of the whole planetary resources. So wrong. The ancients They were using shapes, pyramids, elements of sacred geometry, energy potent places, and they were getting machines made from local material, eco-friendly civilizations, and they would last forever. And they are amplifying the frequencies that are beneficial for our health, water, food, spiritual abilities, communication, anything. So their concept was so much more advanced.
Absolutely. Now, with regard to the organic coverings on the pyramid, the dirt, the plant matter, do you think that that is simply a natural deposit over the last tens of thousands of years, or do you think that was initially built as part of the original design?
It can go both ways, artificial or natural. However, based on my experience, I think it's probably of natural cause. Why I'm saying that? In central Chinese province of Shanxi, we have 250 pyramids, 20 big ones, more than 12,500 years old, completely covered by soil vegetation, and 230 smaller ones. The old ones, 12,500, the modern ones from 2,300 to 1,000 before present. All of them covered by soil. It is not an effort of Chinese people trying to cover them. It is the wind, and then of course the rain, and the wind brings the dust and soil, and you had a vegetation. In Central America, those 5 countries with the Mayan Pyramids, 100,000 of them, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, 97% of the pyramids, even today, are deep in the jungles and the forests because of the climate. But the pyramids in Peru, they are in desert. In Egypt, they're in desert. It's sunny. The climate is different. No greenery. So I would say that the same thing in Bosnia. Bosnia, we have 4 seasons, springs, falls, very rainy. So I would say it was the wind, it was the rain, it was the natural forces.
Okay. Now, back to the idea of people having some type of healing properties going into these pyramids. Are the results measurable for a time after they leave, or is it necessary for people to continue to keep coming back on a regular basis?
We have done a medical study with 20 people who have never been in the pyramids before or in the tunnels. So we've done about 35 different measurements. We took them to the hospital. They gave the blood and the urine, so it's about 35 different elements that we measured. And then we went to the tunnels. And then immediately after, they went to the hospital again, giving their blood samples and urine again. And then 1 week later, we took samples again, and 2 weeks later, we took samples again. In literally all cases, we could see the health improvement. Sugar, pressure, and the blood, red blood, white blood cells, and stuff like that. So I would say that you have an instant regeneration of your body, but depending on the seriousness of your disease or your imbalance, it takes time in some cases. A lot of personal experiences that I've had with the people. For example, there was a tennis player from Czech Republic. He had a pain in his elbow, and he was trying with the different therapies, injections. Nothing was helping him. He went to the tunnels once. The pain was gone. He went back to Prague. 8 months later, I went to Prague to have a lecture. I met him. He said, no pains whatsoever. When it comes for, let's say, asthma, we have people who are, heavily users of these inhalers, air pumps. They go to the tunnels. In most cases, 3 to 6 months, they don't need pumps anymore. When it comes to the sugar, we had also a team of 5 people, And we could see that, when it comes to sugar, if you are from 3.2 to 6.2, it's a normal level. 6.2 to 10, it's a risky group. Above 10, it's diabetes. We had people who usually were the risky group, let's say 6.5, 8, 10.7, and so on. After the tunnels, the first and especially the second one, they were all at the normal level, from 5 to 5.9. And then we were watching them. For 1 week, it was 5.6, 5.8, 5.5, and then they went back home to Prague, Czech Republic. And then as they were going back to the cause of the high sugar in the blood, meaning bad food, stress at work, we could see that sugar would be going higher and higher. So we should understand this treatment at the pyramid tunnels as reset. It's like your computer. If you have 20 windows open, it is going to get frozen. You turn it off, you reset it, you start new. But if you're going to open 20 windows again, you're going to have the same problem again. But in general, I would still say it is on individual basis. It depends on us. We had people with very serious diseases. In some cases, we could see spectacular results. But when we talk to the people, they would tell us, hey, they try to do yoga, they are vegetarians, they go out as much as they can, stress level is rather low, meditation is there. So even if it is very serious disease, the results are, much better than those people who even don't believe, and, mentally they are against, they blocked, so their results will be much weaker.
How about for yourself? I mean, if I might say so, you don't look like you've aged a day since you've started this project. I mean, perhaps your hair is a different color, but I mean, have you yourself had any, anecdotal experiences?
Well, yes. I've lived in Houston for more than 2 decades, 90s and 2000s. And of course, you're at work, you're at computer all the time, in the office, you come home, then you're computer again, the emails and whatever. And, at nights, the picture would start being blurry, and then I couldn't see well all these, small letters. So I went to the ophthalmologist, and I think it was like 1.75. So, I would have reading glasses at nights. That was 2005. And I started this project to discover the tunnels. After 2006, I never wore glasses anymore. So this is one thing which is very obvious. Another thing, during the times, like in the winter times, a lot of influenza, the viruses and stuff like that, you have runny nose, eyes. You go to the tunnels, spend 45 minutes, 60 minutes, you get out, everything is gone. And, so many other cases. So I would say that, yes, I'm a perfect example. And then my energy level, always high. The way I live, 8 hours I sleep, 16 hours I work. But it's not work in, a routine sense. It's, I love what I do. So, but I can work. I walk, I run, I dig, I go to the tunnels, I move everywhere, I climb the mountains. No problem.
That's excellent. Now, you've recently said that you expanded the park. I mean, and this pyramid complex is now an actual park that people can come and visit. Are you continuing to expand? Are you finding additional elements of this complex?
Back in 2005, 2006, our only priority was the archaeology. We wanted to prove that we have the biggest construction complex. And indeed, we were finding concrete blocks, terraces, pavements, tunnels, so we have proven that. But we realized archaeology is not enough to explain this. So we started applying many scientific disciplines: geology, paleontology, biology, high-tech, geophysical, geothermal, satellite. So, archaeology, science. And still it was not enough. We started measuring this energy phenomena. Physicists, electrical engineers, sound engineers. So we had archaeology, and then science, then energy aspect. And then we realized that this energy affects our spirituality also. Meditations and stuff. People become more spiritual. They look for the balance of spiritual and physical. They don't just run, after the money and stuff like that. So the fourth aspect, spirituality. And then healing, the fifth aspect. And still, that was not enough. So, like I said, we started buying the properties around the entrance to the tunnels, which is a very attractive location. And we purchased about 1 million square feet. And then from swampy land, we have transformed it into the beautiful park with different energy installations, labyrinth of love, labyrinth of energy, botanical gardens. We have yoga meditation platforms. We have concert stage for the beautiful spiritual music, for different concerts, rock and roll also. People come and they dance and they meditate. And we have made such a beautiful area. And the nice thing is, all the roads, we build the roads, parking is for free, entrance to the park is for free, the installations are for free, even the toilets, we built 5 toilets, they are for free. What I want to do, I want to bring this feeling of freedom back to the people. We are born free. But the moment we got born, they are telling us, you can't do this, you can't do that. The law forbids you this. They come to a place. It's a stress-free environment. They go to the tunnels. They enjoy the energy of the, tunnels. They go once with the guide. The second time, they go and meditate. They relax. And the third and the fifth time, they go to the Sun Pyramid. Sun Pyramid is more like a male energy. It's strong energy. They go to the Moon Pyramid. It's a female. It's emotion. We have more structures, different energies. 15 years ago, I wouldn't be talking like this, energies, female, man. But at the time you realize, hey, it affects you. You start feeling, tingling in your fingers. You vibrate higher. And then you realize, really, everything is about the vibration. When we hate, when we are violent, when we are jealous, we really vibrate very low. But when we are in love, and when we have love for the whole world, we vibrate very high. And it can be seen. And you see that the pyramid energy affects you in very beneficial way. At least those who are open-minded with the good intentions. But we also notice that people who are not only skeptics, but against it, they don't want to listen to the guys. When they get out of the tunnels of the pyramids, they're even worse than before. Why? Because the pyramid energy amplifies whatever you have in you. If you carry, bad energy, it's going to amplify bad energy. So we have to be careful. So I would say we are building with these parks, and we've been expanding the park. Last year we built a wellness center with a, massage and chiropractic deal. Then we have a healthy food, and we have, those beautiful freshly squeezed juices, with the ginger and the carrot and the apple and the orange and the lemon. And healthy way of living, different future. I do not allow the router, the Wi-Fi in my park. The telecom company was coming several times. Oh, we're gonna put it for free. I said, no, you won't. No, but you have to have it. I don't have to have it. So, people feel the difference. So we've been building some type of the open community. Some people got touched with the pyramid energy for 2 hours. Some people 3 days. Some people 3 months. Some people year after year after year. So I'm against those, very strict structures. When you have like all around the world, you have people trying, with the efforts in the last few decades to build spiritual communities. So that's beautiful. It's not our life is not only about the material stuff, just grab, but it's very hard to find the balance. And even if you have community, there are beautiful communities like Damanhur in Italy, Auroville in India, 49 nations in India, some kibbutz in Israel, Aldville in Norway. I've been visiting those communities. But eventually, with the 100 families or 1,500 families, you would start seeing the power struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be ambassador. I want to be president. I want to be, project manager. I want to, keep the money. In our case, it's open. People come, with a smile on their faces, they go back with a bigger smile.
Now, do you provide accommodations for people there within the park, or do they just come to visit, and then you have your volunteers that are there working in the sites?
Correct. We do not, at this point, do any commercial activities. When I say commercial, accommodation is one of them. So I could have built a hotel, and my hotel would be filled all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody in the town would hate me. Because at this point, there are 212 accommodation places from Visoko on Booking.com. 10 years ago, there were none. Now it's 212. Mostly it's a small hotels, R&B, little apartments or little houses or, even rooms, little camps. But still, 212 families. Legally, at least 100 of them who are not, legal. It's 300 families for this little town of 20,000 people. It's a lot. When you add the taxi driver, restaurants, stores, we have colored the whole place with the tourism, with our energy. So I don't do accommodation, but there is plenty of accommodation. We don't find 5-star hotels, but people don't come because of the hotels. They come because of the discovery, archaeology, and science, and energy, and healing, and having a good time. We don't do restaurants, but on our place, since now we have our properties, we started renting, little shacks, little houses to the, places where they squeeze the juice, or they sell the souvenirs, or they sell some healthy food. That we do because we support local community. And when we come to the volunteers, now it's a special story there. Since we have not been receiving a penny from the government, from municipality, from regional, from federal, from state government, nothing from the public companies, Telecom and the others. Because this project has become highly political because of cultural establishment being against us. Even though some politicians, especially those who would come to our sites, they were so supportive, but they didn't want to go against those professors and so on. So they let us do the work, they give us permissions, but they don't help us financially. Well, anyway, I had to find some creative solutions. Okay, we started charging for the entrance to the tunnels and the pyramids. It's a small charge. It's like $5 or $10. That's it. Everything else is for free. Selling some souvenirs, selling my books, selling t-shirts, stuff of that. We have a couple of little stores. But it's about 25% of what we really need to pay our archaeologists, geologists, workers to maintain all these operations. Then I do a lot of groups around the planet. I take people to South Africa, Swaziland, Zimbabwe. I take them to Turkey. I take them to Egypt. I take them to Israel, Jordan, Palestine, different places. So we make some money there. Of course, in the winter time, there are no tourists. So I take my money from my business. I still have my business in Houston, Texas. So all my salaries, they go to our foundation for the, paychecks for our people. I sell some books, when I'm outside. We're getting some groups coming. So, from different sources, we kind of live from first to first. First of the month to first of the month, we cover our expenses. But the major thing is that we have opened the project for volunteers. Archaeology is very conservative science. You or me, we cannot just go to Egypt and start digging their pyramids, or we cannot even join their teams. You have to be part of, I would say, elite group which is allowed to come, from universities and so on. And if you want to dig in Egypt, when you submit the project, not only that you describe what you're going to do, but you describe the conclusions even before you started digging. They want to make sure that it comply with their ideas about the pharaohs, about their dynasties being the builders of pyramids. It's different. And plus, you probably heard that for hundreds of years, the Masonic lodges, they were saying that under the left horn of the Sphinx, there was an entrance to the tunnels which will lead you to the Hall of Record under the Giza Plateau, where all the knowledge from the mysterious land of Atlantis was hidden from more than 12,000 years back. Well, back in 1999, Dr. Zaki Havas, who was at that time in charge of the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities, and secretly he started digging under the left horn. So during the daytime, they would put a wooden pallet over the hole. During the nights, when the Archaeological Park in Cairo was closed, they would come back, they were digging. They found a huge rock in front of the tunnels. They dynamited this rock, and they entered the tunnels. Well, anyway, it seems that they did find this Hall of Records, this huge library of Atlantis. And in 2000s, I was there. I spoke to the director of the Giza. I asked him, okay, what did you find so far? He said, it's strictly confidential. I said, why is confidential? This is the knowledge that belongs to all of us, to the whole world, not only to the Supreme Egyptian Council or British government. It belongs to the people. That's why I said in Bosnia there will be no secrets. And believe me, when I was in China, the leading Chinese archaeologists told me they don't have permission to dig on their biggest pyramids because they know they are over 12,000 years old. They need to change Chinese history for 10,000 years, and they're going to come to the source of more intelligent civilization than ours. Confidential, confidential, confidential. I said in Bosnia, there will be no secrets. And it has become the most open archaeological project in the world. Every year we invite volunteers, and they come from 8 years old to 84 years, archaeologists, geologists, forensics, medical people, engineers, students, housewives, everybody who wants to be a part of history-changing project. They come, they discover with us the oldest concrete on the planet. They discover some of the prehistoric tunnels. They discover artifacts, they discover organic materials, and thanks to them, we have advanced so much. And tomorrow, they'll be able to tell their kids and their grandkids, I was there in the beginning when they needed me. I was part of it. And that's the big difference.
Dr. Sam, I'll be perfectly honest with you. It has been a dream of mine for a long time to come to Bosnia and take part in a dig, to volunteer for some period of time. Is there like a best time of the year when you would suggest people coming there? And how would you go about arranging that? I found flights to Sarajevo for like $800 a ticket.
All right. On our official website, BosnianPyramids.org, or maybe we can leave that website later on. We have a couple of different programs for volunteers. Actually, in the previous 10, 12 years, people could come as part of so-called expeditions to Bosnian Pyramids with volunteering, where we would arrange everything. People could come for 1 week or 2 weeks, 1 week, 2, 3, 4, whatever. In 1 week, basically, we would provide everything, the hotel, food, and local transportation, pickup and transfer and excursions for one charge of 400 or 350 euros. It's about 400 bucks. 400 bucks for 1 week is not bad, and you have everything provided. The second option for those who've been coming year after year, they were able to find their own accommodation in Visoko, and we would give them a calendar, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We would provide them with the lunch. So they come during the those business hours, they work, they all get together. After 3 p.m., they go wherever they want. So those two programs, we were rather flexible. But the first time, people who come, we will provide everything. Later on, if they want to come, stay longer, they can do that. But we would ask from everyone just to let us know when they would be coming. Like during the summertime, July, August, first half of September, we would have 50 to 60 volunteers a day. That's a lot, meaning that we have to have at least 2-3 experts, archaeologists, geologists, working on 2-3 different sites, arranging for the lunch, and tools, and so on. May, June, October, during the volunteering season, it's usually 10 to 25 people. So the best time would be from May to October. Now for this year, we are planning to do May till the end of October. Due to the pandemic, we moved that to mid of July to mid of October. But now, since the borders are still kind of closed, those restrictive measures are still around us, if somebody can somehow sneak into Bosnia, then welcome, they can join us. If not, we'll see. Maybe July, August will be better, or September will be better. If not, the next year, people go to our website and they will find all necessary information about their volunteering. And then, yes, if people choose to join us through our program, we have them accommodated in the town of Visoko. It's a nice town, and people can even walk, or we come in the morning with the vans. It's about 1 mile from the hotel to all archaeological sites. People can walk 10-15 minutes, or they can pick them up, they come to the site, and it's always a wonderful atmosphere, because imagine you go there, you have, let's say, 30-40 people from at least 10-15 countries, from France, Germany, and New Zealand, Romania, US, Canada, Caribbean, South Korea. They share the experiences, and we had so many interesting stuff. Like we had this lady, she's a Ph.D. forensic sciences, and she was working for the police over there in Australia. In, was it Brisbane or Melbourne? So she, in her 35, 40 years old, she came, and she's down to earth. She has no clue. She did have no clue in spirituality at that time. So the first day, people are introducing themselves. This guy says, I'm so-and-so, I'm Thomas from Germany, I heard about this, I wanted to come, whatever. She said, well, I'm coming from Australia, I'm a forensic expert, and I'd like to start this experience. But this guy said, well, I'm coming from Pleiades, I will enjoy this. And now she's listening to him, Pleiades, so these are probably some Greek islands. But later on, she realized that you have people who feel, hey, I belong to the universe. I'm not only from this planet. And when people often come to us, hey, when I start talking about some stuff like UFO or spirituality or God, everybody thinks I'm crazy. But when I come to Bosnia, I have like-minded people. Nothing is strange. I mean, there is no topic which is kind of strange. There's nothing that is forbidden. There is nothing that somebody will be laughing at you. I mean, people share their experience.
That's so cool.
You can accept them, you can say them partially, or it's up to you. I mean, we are simply open people with open minds, and I would say we improve ourselves.
Well, it sounds like someplace I would absolutely love, and I would fit right in. How cool is that? All right. Well, Dr. Sam, I think that's probably a good place to leave it. What I'm going to do is get all of your links, the best place for people to buy the books, your website, your social media, everything that they'd want to know, and we'll leave it in the description and the pinned comment below. But what do you want to leave the audience with?
Now, let's say people come to experience this, such a beautiful energies. Even if you don't feel the energy, this is the place where you can start feeling the energy. You will realize that your true nature is a little bit more than what they are telling us in media and in the education system. Once they experience that, it will be something they will never forget. It's a truly life-changing experience, and everyone's welcome.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you once again for joining us, Dr. Sam. I really appreciate it. I've got so many more questions, and I would love to have you back again in the future.
We'll do it. Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you for putting up with the trouble that we had with the audio. Like I said, Bosnia does not have the best connection, but that was the best we were going to get with him being all the way over there. Unfortunately, he couldn't do the live stream. I said it in the chat. I believe it's like 4 or 5 a.m., something like that right now here, there in Bosnia. So, he doesn't want to stay up that late. And I don't blame him. I completely understand. But he said in the future, he does generally visit the United States about 4 times a year. Due to the current pandemic crisis that we find ourselves in, he is unable to be here at the moment. So hopefully he will be coming, because this will all be over and everything will be good again. I wanted to give a couple of quick thank yous. Courtney, thank you very much. Also to Glennon Graphics, thank you. Celia, Bonnie, Mary, and Jennifer, all of you, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Also, David, I don't know if you want me to give this web address, David, but if you're in the chat and you would like for me to go ahead and do that, then I will. But thank you very much for that donation on Cash App. So yeah, you guys should know me by now. I'm a researcher. I have my core beliefs, but it doesn't stop me from looking into interesting subjects. Specifically, archaeology and ancient history is something that is very fascinating to me. I'm very, very interested in learning about ancient cultures, and there are so many different cultures that have preceded us today that have just been washed away from the face of the earth. Sands of time over a length of time, cultures get lost and they disappear. But something like this, the Bosnian Pyramids, is a very, very fascinating subject to me. Whether or not you believe the things that Dr. Osmanagich was saying, they are measurable phenomena. And in my mind, it is just something that we don't understand how it works. The fact remains, however, that there are many people who have visited these pyramids. They have expressed some really remarkable results. And more than anything, to me, they're fascinating because we don't know who built them. They are here. They are the largest and oldest pyramids on the face of the earth, and they exist. So because they exist, I think that they are definitely worth looking into. Other sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, that is something like, 13 to 15,000 years old. We have no idea who built them. There are some strange animals on those stone pillars that are there. And even some of them look like dinosaurs, I think that, the fact that they are there means that we as modern people should be looking into them. I truly believe that there are many ancient technologies that are just completely lost to us. Finding them, discovering them, learning how to use them, I think that would be a good thing for mankind. I think that technology here in our modern world has, moved forward very little over the course of the last century. We're still driving gasoline-powered cars. At the time that they, were first being put on the road by Ford, there were other people. Nikola Tesla had an electric car. Okay, the very first electric car on the road was not from Tesla. It was from the original Tesla. And the idea that those technologies existed and have been covered up and suppressed is something that I've always been very interested in. I'm really interested in alternative energy technologies, and there are some people that I'm talking to right now trying to see about putting together some shows about this stuff. So I'm hoping to check it out. Michael Kenny says the Eye of the Sahara is hands down my #1 bucket list on places to go, aside from every Six Flags there is. Yes, the Eye of the Sahara. Isn't that in Mauritania? There is a channel here on YouTube called Bright Insight. Jimmy is the guy that hosts it, and he does some incredible videos. on ancient sites throughout the world, talking about pretty much the same thing we were just discussing with Dr. Sam. I have tried to get Jimmy on the program before, and unfortunately, I've never heard back from him. I don't know how to get a hold of him directly. I only know how to comment on his YouTube videos. And I can tell you, as somebody who gets a lot of comments on YouTube videos, it's pretty difficult to be able to keep track of them. But, I think we'll, we've only got a half hour left, so I will go ahead and do some calls. You guys can go ahead and call in with questions that you might have, or you can just talk about whatever's on your mind. We'll do that for about a half hour. Give me just a second, and I am going to get the Zoom call together and get it on screen. And check it out, you guys. I got a new screen. Just realized my mic was muted. And now it comes. Trisha Q Patriot Texas is already on the line. You guys, if you hear the dogs in the background, there is a thunderstorm happening here right now, and they are super anxious. They always get really scared whenever there is a thunderstorm here. So while we're waiting for Trisha, are you there? Trisha?
Hello.
Hey, Trisha, how are you?
I'm doing good. Long time no talk to you.
Yeah, how you been? Is everything settled down there?
Oh no, I had two roofers. First one was lousy. Second one hadn't finished yet, but no biggie.
What is it with roofers? I mean, you would think that anybody who's in the the business of roofing, I mean, it's a key trade. Everybody needs a roof, and if you do a roof right, it's not going to leak, and people are going to recommend you. I feel like roofers are so hit and miss. I've known some excellent roofers, and then it always seems that the ones that my people that I love hire, there's always a problem.
Yeah, well, this guy brought me this. It was my porch roof that was ripped off, and it's that metal corrugated stuff.
Oh yeah.
And what he bought for me, which was way too expensive, had holes in it. I mean, there were holes all over the place. I've never seen such a thing. And so I had a waterfall on my front porch every time it rained.
Oh, no. Is he going to come back and fix it, or is he making you...
I told him don't come back.
Oh, well, and I understand that, yeah.
He kept coming back and forth at me, and I finally just said, look, I'm not going to give you a bad name out there. Just leave me alone. And I'd already spent all this money. But the other roofer came back in and redid everything, but he plugged up the holes, and anyway, it's just, we've had some really heavy rain. We've had like 10 inches here.
Oh, wow.
And it knocked out all the plugs the guy put in.
Oh.
So he's going to have to come back out. But anyway, that, now I forgot what I was going to say to you. Oh my gosh. I had a point to this call. I appreciated your guest. To be honest, I have a hard time understanding people with really thick accents.
Yeah, he did have a thick accent, yeah.
Yeah, you're good at it though. That the sweet little lady from India, I can never understand.
Sweeta, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it is. You know, I've always, I guess I've known many people with different accents from different parts of the world, like my whole life. So I guess maybe I'm just attuned to listening specifically so that I'm able to catch it. But I know if you haven't heard like someone speaking in a particular accent before, it can be quite difficult. My dad, when I was younger, he used to work for an engineering company, and he was the only Caucasian that worked there. I mean, everybody was like directly from India, and we would always go to their house, the owner of the company, and we would like eat with his family when I was little. So, you know, I had I guess I grew up with people from India. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and then Dr. Osmanagich, I've been following him for so long. I would say probably when, you know, I first discovered him, there was a bit of decoding I had to do with his accent, but over time it's gotten much easier for me. I hope that the audio wasn't too terrible. There was a couple, you know, for some reason it just kept spiking, and I did what I could to level it, but
there were a couple times when it was staticky or you know, but other than that, I could hear him perfectly. It was just not understanding everything he was saying. But I did see the website. I'll click on it and go check it out.
Yeah. If you go there and you go to, where is it? I believe it's events. That's where you can get to the well, no, these are organized events. Where is it? The project. Pyramid. I can't remember. I don't remember where it is, but check out the website, and they have a section specifically for people who want to volunteer. And I'll show you guys right now so you know that you're in the right place. Because once you put the website in, it changes to a Bosnian domain, but I believe it is bosnianpyramid.org, and of course that information is in the description below.
Okay. How long ago did he find it?
I believe it was over a decade ago. I think he said like 2006 or something like that.
Well, I kept hearing him say 2006, but I think it was before that.
I'm pretty sure it is now, because now that I'm thinking about it, I think that he said they've been there excavating at least for 15 years. So I'm sure that he realized it before then, and then they had to get the proper permits from the government to go ahead and start into it. But, you know, one of the things that I don't think that people who don't believe him or don't trust, you know, his interpretation of it, they don't realize that he was an expert in ancient pyramids to begin with, because the fact that he had already been down in South America and in Mexico and, you know, Egypt, many different places, investigating pyramids and these ancient cultures and determining, you know, what was what and, you know, things to look for. You know, you look at the pyramids in Central and South America, a vast majority of them are in you know, a jungle, very dense jungle cover, and you know, you wouldn't know until you're basically right on top of it that it's even a pyramid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, Tricia. Well, anything else you want to add?
No, thank you.
All right.
Good talking to you, Red Pill.
Pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, excellent. Going to the next caller, Aaron. My good buddy Aaron Moriarty. Aaron is going to be joining me on the show on Friday the 3rd. We're going to be talking about teleportation. We're talking about science here again, guys. We're talking about information released by the government and people who have worked on this. And Aaron, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, doing great. Great show. That Bosnian Pyramid, man, wow.
Pretty sweet.
Congratulations on getting a great guest. The energy beam coming up is the most fascinating to me. And
yeah,
I didn't notice him saying it, but when I first read about it, the higher up they went, the higher the energy was.
I know that he said that it, like, you know, it was like a scalar wave, and I believe that it widened, or, you know, maybe the intensity got more and more the higher that you go. But there's that picture, and actually I used it on the card. Somebody had snapped a picture of the pyramid, and there's like a beam of energy shooting out the top, and that's not photoshopped. I mean, that was an actual picture someone took of it just candidly, and it was, you know, it's there, you know.
I heard that it was ultrasound energy at first. When they first discovered it, they called it ultrasound energy.
Yeah, I think that their interpretation of it has developed over time as they've, you know, learned more about it and taken more readings.
Well, I think you should go there and you should broadcast from there. You should live stream from there. I mean,
if I can, I don't know if they have enough internet for me to live stream from there. I could definitely record, and I would definitely upload. But yes, honestly, it's a dream of mine to go there. I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was really young. You know, I loved Indiana Jones. I loved all that stuff. So, you know, so I've always been thinking about it. How fun would it be to go and take part in a dig like that, or even just to visit the site? You know, I mean, it would just be incredible.
There was a pyramid in New York.
Really?
Yes.
Is this the guy, like a guy that built it, or is this like Native American?
It was natural. And they tore it down very, very early in the settlement of the. Where was it? I think it was. It might actually be where the Montauk area is.
Oh.
That might be where it was, but it was a big pyramid.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that. I don't know much about it. I mean, I know I've heard it before, but I don't know much about it specifically.
And here in Wisconsin, I believe they found in a big mound 14-foot tall beings. You know,
yes.
buried.
Yeah, oftentimes in like they call them the mound builder culture, because it's not Native American. It is some pre-existing culture prior to that. But oftentimes, I mean, gigantic red-haired, you know, humanoids.
Yes,
so.
And red-haired humanoids near the Chinese.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's same thing. You know, I mean, it lends credence to the idea that there have been, you know, multiple ancient cultures who, you know, died out. Now, there was a pre-Native American culture here in the United States called the Solutreans. They were Caucasian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and they migrated from the area of Solutria. I want to say it's on like the French-German border in Europe, but they came here prior to that. They lived down in Florida, and you know, there was a tidal wave or something came and wiped them all out. But they were here prior to the Native Americans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I hadn't heard that. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
My ancestors allegedly come from Europe because I'm negative blood. I've
RH negative?
AB negative, yeah.
AB negative, okay.
That's the rarest, actually. Only 1% of the population.
I want to say that I'm AB positive. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but I remember hearing that when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember being very upset that I was negative because I always liked to think of myself as positive.
I want to be positive.
But yeah, there's a lot to say. They don't know what the origin is of the negative blood. Now, some people hypothesize and think it could be Neanderthal.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I could see that.
Something else, because negative blood people have normally, maybe not mine, but a larger cranium, an extra rib, and I got a couple broken ones right now. An extra vertebrae could be, and things are not in the right spots.
Really?
Yeah. They're from an area called Bosque.
Oh yeah. I've got I'm Iberian, small portion of Iberian in me, and it's the same people as the Bosques. Yeah.
Maybe you're negative.
Maybe I am negative. I don't know, Mom. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, Mom, if you're in the chat still, what is my blood type? Me and Real Red Pill Girlfriend are always trying to figure it out. Oh man.
Well, I should probably let you get to some other guests. I'm looking forward to our talk on the 3rd.
I am
going to
as
be
well.
awesome.
All right,
I'm
brother.
trying to get a payment to you through PayPal, but apparently I got some problems on my end getting the PayPal fix. So,
all right, no problem. No problem. I appreciate the support, Aaron, and we'll be looking forward to talking to you.
Thanks.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, sweet. Just 2 callers left. I guess nobody wants to talk. And here it is, the lady herself, Sweta. Sweta may know something or two about ancient cultures, as the cultures from India have been around for thousands of years. Sweta, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, hi, Redfield.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I was thinking, Jimmy from Bright Insight, you should probably send him a tweet or maybe a direct message. Maybe that way also you could get in touch with him. And I think it'd be really interesting to, to see an interview with him.
Yes, I've tried before. He doesn't allow for direct messages, and I don't know if he's even seen the tweets. It's so hard when you have a lot of followers, because it also, I mean, you're getting so many notifications. It's difficult to keep them straight.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll keep trying though.
Yeah, I do. And there's another thing I want to say. Whenever you're having migraines, just check whether it reduces when you put a pillow on your head. It sounds a little odd, but it's whenever I've had heaviness in the head or something, keeping a pillow on my head has helped, because that's something I've considered a microwave weapon attacks and everything.
Yes.
I've had stomach cramps like you've had before earlier. So whenever you're having a sudden pain in certain area, whether it's the stomach or whether it's the head, do consider, just check, or an aluminum sheet. If you have generally in India you get aluminum sheets in a hardware store.
Yep.
And if you could put it in the direction in which you think you're feeling the pressure from, it could be a natural occurrence, but it could also be a microwave attack. Because technology is out there.
Yeah.
And Republicans and conservatives as such are being targeted, and their voices are being so it's always better to check and keep those things in hand.
I will definitely consider that for sure.
And apart from Jimmy from Bright Insight, I would again ask you if you could interview Barry Trower. And try and get in touch with him, British intelligence.
Hey, do you know how to get in touch with him? Like, do you have an email for him? Because I haven't been able to find any way to reach this guy.
What I'll do is I'll try and search. And even Brian Coffrin, I'm not even sure if he's alive at the moment.
Yeah, he's the guy who was publishing, and then he just stopped a couple years ago.
Yeah, he just stopped, yeah.
Yeah.
He was talking on YouTube how he was a whistleblower in SIS Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
SI Security Industry Specialist Seattle. He was whistleblower from there, and he's had relatives working in the military as well.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Karlstrom.
Now here's the thing. Is it ERIC?
It's ERIC.
Okay,
ERIC KARLSTROM.
KAR. Okay, I was searching CARL. Okay, KARLSTROM.
Okay. And then it's BARRIE TROWER.
BARRIE TRO. Okay. WER. Okay. Oh, okay. I got it. I was spelling that one wrong too.
Okay, and the other guy is BRYAN.
Yep.
KOFRON.
TOFRON?
KOFRON.
KOFRON. Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay, well, that's going to help. I was searching for the wrong names entirely.
All right. I have their playlists. I have created a playlist with some of their interviews. Do check them out in my YouTube channel if possible. I have named the playlist, Interview M. Redfield. I did get into a controversy in 2012. I was hoping that you could, someday interview me as well and ask me questions on it.
Okay.
But I think those guys have more information to give. whether it's microwave weapons or as being now Eric Karlstrom is also a targeted individual. Plus, he's also been doing research on 9/11 and climate change. Now, his father was working for the government, for the American government, mapping climate and I think soil, and he was in that field as well. And he has quite a lot of interesting stories in those lines, and he's researched a lot of things about a lot of black projects in the CIA.
Sure.
So Eric Karlstrom, I would definitely maybe him being a targeted individual, maybe you should consider interviewing him privately and then posting it rather than having a live stream.
Okay.
Because sometimes targeted individuals tend to say things that
Sure.
YouTube may consider inappropriate or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel you. All right. Well, Sweta, I'm going to continue looking up for these guys. I appreciate your call.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot, Doctor. Yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, awesome. Good stuff. All right. We got 3 people. Now we got more people. Jimmy. We got Jimmy on the line. Let's see if this works. How are you guys doing? I hope that you're having a good night. We got about 10 minutes left, and then we'll be signing off for the evening. Appreciate you guys being here. Also, if you could, make sure that you do remember to leave a like or a share on this broadcast. Real Red Pill Girlfriend just sent me a thing about blood types, and if I knew my parents' blood types, then I might be able to determine the % chance of having various blood types. Jimmy, are you there? Jimmy? Jimmy's call is not coming through, or maybe your microphone's just not working. Jimmy, if you can hear me, I'm going to bring somebody else in, and then we'll work on getting yours. Oh, looks like Jimmy just left. All right, so we've got somebody on a Galaxy S9 coming in. Hey, what's up, Floyd? What's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing, Red Pill?
I am excellent. How's it going? What's going on, man?
Oh man, I'm actually, that was probably one of the most amazing pre-recorded live chats I've ever seen.
Sweet, dude. Thanks.
I knew that there was something out there in Bosnia, but I had absolutely no clue. But thank you for bringing this fine gentleman on, because it's really odd to see that Bosnia even had pyramids.
Right? Yeah, it blew my mind when I learned that years ago. Here's the thing. Yeah, there is so much stuff out there that they have suppressed, that, they've made us, what do you think about when you think Bosnia? You think, like Kosovo, Sarajevo, you think about Bill Clinton sending, planes in there to bomb Slobodan Milosevic. You don't think about anything else. All you think is, ethnic turmoil.
True. But I do have a brother of mine, a fellow military man. He was sent to Bosnia. Mm-hmm. The only thing I can really tell you was his call sign was Wookie.
Wookie. That's great, dude. I love it.
Trust me, he fits that description quite well.
There's a lot of special apps guys who I think would be, take the name Wookie.
Yeah, but he actually truly lives it. So, but it's absolutely great, because now I'm gonna go ahead and look into this gentleman a lot more, simply because the fact that I was just like, that was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, and there's so much more too, dude. It's like I knew that people's attention spans only go so long, So like I could have talked to him for another 2 hours, but then I don't know that everybody would have stuck around if we would have kept going. Plus, I want something for the future too,
Trust me, I would have sat here and watched all of it.
Right.
Just because it was, it was that fascinating.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. I got to thank you, because I'm about ready to start dropping a lot of videos on the Democrat Party history. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest reasons why is because you are a mentor, 412 Anon, we the People Insider.
Yep.
You and Methods, all you guys are great. And you finally got me to a point where I'm just like, hey, it's about time to drop some real truth.
Man, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I can't wait to see them. I'll share them too.
Hey, I'm gonna be tagging you guys every
Yeah.
single video that I can.
Good.
Just because,
Good.
I mean, you inspired me to do this. So,
Awesome, dude. Well, get some stuff out there, and then we'll have you on the show, and then we can do a whole series on it.
You got it.
Right on.
You got it. All right, brother. Have a lovely night. Yeah, you know all the rest because I was gonna say a whole bunch more, but we'll just leave it at that.
All right, brother. Floyd, have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you soon, my friend.
You got it.
Peace.
Peace.
I love Floyd. Okay. Let's see. You guys just want to, we got a couple more callers. We've got 6 minutes left. Well, hopefully we can get through all of them. Caller, you're on the air. Can I get your name?
Anthony.
Anthony, how are you?
I'm making it. How about you?
I'm doing good. Oh, go ahead. Make sure you mute the stream in the background so we don't get the feedback loop.
Okay.
All right, Anthony, what's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I just wanted to comment on the good doctor. I've been with him a few times at a couple of seminars and spent some time with him. And he's the real McCoy. And a couple of friends of mine went on the assistant digs over there in Serbia. And it's a pretty interesting place. All the tunnels are kind of healing. There's nothing that forces air through there, but it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
The air comes in regardless.
Yeah, that was one of the most fascinating things to me because, you know, you go in, let's say you go into a coal mine, okay? You go, you know, however many feet down underground, and there's no air. You know, there is air, fresh air, better quality air inside those tunnels than there is outside of the pyramids itself. How can you account for that?
Well, he's not getting pollution in there like the rest of us.
Exactly.
But I think, you know, it's very healing in there, too. People have been healed that go sitting there for hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Did your friends report anything?
They went there and they spent some time with him because they put the seminars on.
Mm-hmm.
That was the expansions people, Stuart and Janet Swerdlow. Have you heard of them?
Oh, yeah, Stuart Swerdlow. Yes. He has those the books about Montauk. Yeah.
Yeah, he's written about 10 more this year. I'm just amazed.
Wow. Yeah, I would love to try to get a hold of Stuart. I have known about his work for a long time. That would be really interesting.
Well, if you want to get a hold of him, I'm your man if you can't.
Hey, man, please, you know, my email address is redpill78@protonmail.com. You know, tag us and, you know, help me get in touch with him.
Okay. Well,
all right.
You want to know now, or do you want me to call him and have him call you?
Yeah. Just have him and, call him and then have him get in touch with me. Have him send me an email and put interview in the subject line, and then I'll get in touch with him.
All righty.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate that, Anthony. I really appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, thanks for your shows. I love them.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, you guys. We've got 3 minutes left and 2 people in the waiting room.
Call him and then have him get
go ahead and hit mute there, caller. Hit mute on the stream.
Got it on mute.
All right. How's it going?
Hey,
Can we get your name for the audience?
Yeah, this is Elizabeth Coles out in Southern California. Great show tonight.
Elizabeth, thank you for calling and thank you for watching.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure. Say, you're probably familiar, but I just wanted to suggest great interviews that are along this same line would be folks like Jimmy Church or Emery Smith.
Jimmy Church and Emery. Yes, I am familiar with both of them. And Emery Smith. Yeah, I think I can probably swing both of those.
Yeah, Jimmy Church, he's on Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time out here. You get him on YouTube, but he talks about this ancient technology and this stuff all the time. So, you know, he would make a great interview. And then Emery, he actually has current businesses that work both with UFO technology and ancient alien technology, and he's bringing it into the forefront into our current technology.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he's got all kinds of patents on things. So that would be one dude that Emery will blow your mind.
I will definitely look into it. That's cool.
Okay,
awesome.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. Great show. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate you, Elizabeth. Have a good night.
You too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, we have one more caller. Caller, you're on the air. Can I get your name for the audience?
Hi, this is Laura.
Hey, Laura, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Longtime fan.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for calling in. Thank you for watching. What's going on?
Well, I just wanted to pass on some interesting information that Robert does
Okay.
on the observation deck,
Okay.
and that's on YouTube. And I do believe he's friends with the ancient architects gentleman that you were talking about.
Oh, okay, okay. Observation deck. Robert, what is his last name? Do you know?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that.
That's okay. So observation deck is the name of the channel?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'll totally look him up after we're done here.
All right, and then there was a curious episode I saw on TED Talks recently called The Unusual Earth Orbit, Circling Above Our Ancient Past.
Ooh.
And it's basically a perfect 2-year orbit around the Earth, and it passes over many ancient locations.
All right, sweet. Yeah, I'll totally look into that too.
Okay, well, just all I want to say is you're an inspiration to all of us.
Well,
thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you for saying so. I really appreciate it. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
See you. Bye-bye. All right, Chris Hawkins, last caller of the evening. How does Chris always do this? He makes sure he is the last caller so many times. Let's see. Chris, it's been too long. What are you doing? Are you hotboxing that car? We got to get your microphone working. Can you hear me, Chris?
I can hear you.
Awesome. What are you up to, brother? What's going? I think we got a delay again.
Yeah, I am, man. I'm trying to use my. Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Well, tell me what's going on.
Man, okay, so dealing with some audio issues right now, so just bear with me. Yeah, hey, story of my life. Okay, so I just want to tell a quick story real quick. I was talking with Thumper. And okay, can you give me 1 second here, man? Because it's killing me. All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, all right, that's way better. That's way
awesome.
better. Okay, so I was just chatting with Thump in the chat, and they're a little bit native, and I'm a little bit native. Let me get this out of here for a minute. And no Pocahontas story there, by the way.
Okay.
But we know the stories of the Mound Builders, and I mean, we're all familiar with President Lincoln telling the story of we might never know who the Mound Builders were.
Right.
But there was, with the people would get into a little mound there, and they'd see these giants that looked like they buried themselves. They had red hair. They were fully guarded in their armor. And as soon as fresh air hit, they turned into dust. But there's other stories of when the Native Americans arrived here, there was giants running with the buffaloes, and they'd pick up a buffalo, rip a leg off, and start eating it.
Oh,
and
wow.
keep running with the buffaloes.
Those are big dudes if they can rip a leg off a buffalo.
And what are the buffalo going to do, man? They're just trying to get away from the one behind them.
Yep. Well, at least there are no giants running around ripping our legs off now. That would be pretty frightening.
Well, actually, they kind of are. They kind of are. Yeah, the way that story works out is Lucifer knows what he's doing. They're no longer giants by stature, they're giants by power.
There you go. You're totally right in that respect.
And for us to have a warrior president like Trump and other warriors, and the female warriors that we got on us right now is such a blessing. Such a blessing. I'm so proud to be alive today, right now, and witnessing what I get to witness. And it's an honor to be here with you guys.
Well, awesome, dude. I feel the exact same way. And we're going to be closing out the show, you guys. I'm going to drop the link to my my oath that I took today, and that I encourage everyone to make sure you do it as well if you haven't yet. And just, to echo Chris's sentiment, it is an honor to stand alongside you guys here in this movement and to be in this moment in time. Chris, it's always a pleasure, brother. I really appreciate you calling in.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's, again, many, many blessings to everybody in the chats. It's so wonderful to be here with you at this time. Thank you, Father.
Absolutely.
You, Father, for this.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Talk to you soon. God bless.
Blessings.
Peace. All right, guys. So yeah, I just dropped the link to the oath that I recorded earlier today. I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you to the mods for keeping the chat comfy. I love each and every single one of you. Thank you to everybody who supported the show, whether it's a like or a share, doesn't matter. Without your help and without your viewership, I wouldn't be here producing this content. Make sure that you guys tune in tomorrow. Donald Jeffries is going to be here. He is an author and a historian. We're going to be talking about, conspiracies throughout history here in America. Some pretty interesting stuff. You might be familiar with Donald Jeffries from being on Quite Frankly's show. So you guys, thank you once again for being here. Love you all. Have a good night, and we will talk to you again tomorrow.